But right now, let's go camping. We are just under 6 weeks away from opening night, so we've been going city to city to break down the biggest storylines as we gear up for yet another NFL season. First up, take a trip down to Houston, where the Texans, very impressive 12-4 last year, of course, ousted by the Pats in the divisional round because, well, CJ Stroud threw 4 interceptions. Let's take a look at what the Texans did this offseason. Will Anderson got the massive deal, acquired David Montgomery, made some moves on the offensive line, both through the draft and free agency, which was necessary given how often CJ Stroud was staring up at the ceiling. My biggest camp storyline, though, it is very simple. It goes to CJ Stroud, and it is a simple question of if he's good enough. I thought, personally, that his rookie season that everybody loved so much was a little overrated. It was impressive for what it wasn't. Like, he didn't turn the ball over a lot. He only had the 4 or 5 picks his rookie season. But a cluster of touchdowns in one game, it was like low ceiling, high floor, serviceable. Then he has a good year, and then since it's been bad. They picked up his option for next year, and if you look to his losses from last year, or the Texans' losses from last year, they didn't have one where you could say, well, Stroud played great, but they lost. In their 6 losses last year, including the playoffs, among the 33 quarterbacks who qualified for these statistics, he was a bottom 5 quarterback across the board in losses. When the Texans lost, they lost because of him. They have the best defense in football, coach. I don't know if CJ Stroud is good enough to take full advantage of that defense.
I agree. I don't know if he's good enough either. And the playoffs last year,
brutal.
God, it was so rough. It was
tough.
2 touchdowns.
And I'm trying not to overrate that one game, even though it was awful. He
It's
hasn't,
2 games.
But
he hasn't been good for
game
like
and the Pats.
You're right.
2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, put the ball on the ground 5 more times and lost 2 of those.
It was
51
horrifying.
quarterback rating. Guys were open, and it looked like he wide open, even moved the pocket plays where there's nobody in his face, and the ball's going in the dirt. I thought there was a serious chance that he was going to get benched at halftime, and maybe they should have done that. But it's just so hard from a coaching perspective to move on from who you think and have believed in your franchise guy during a playoff game. That would have been a really gutsy move. But as they look moving forward, they obviously weren't willing to commit to him with a new deal.
Yep.
They went the other way and picked up his 5th-year option. Now it's going to be up to him to show that he does belong.
Yeah, last year he legit had the yips, man, and I don't think I've ever seen it that blatantly since Chuck Knobloch, right?
Ooh. Cross-sport 25-year reference. I love it.
But I also think if you're the Houston Texans, you got to keep him out of obvious passing situations, and you hopefully he can do things within the offense where he constantly elevates the offense and not ride the coattails of the defense. So listen, am I a believer? No, because I think I can't get the playoffs out of my mind. I just can't. As much as I want to, I can't. So I don't believe he can do it.
But I mean, listen, we've done it before. We've shown, first 20 games, next 20 games for CJ Stroud. Like the playoffs stick with us because they were playoff games, and it did look like the yips. He has not been a consistently productive quarterback for well over a year now. And you could say, well, they traded away Laramie Tunsil, and he's had offensive line problems. And then, Nico Collins got hurt, and Tank Dell got hurt. Like, it has not been perfect around him. I'm not saying that. But he has not been a quarterback who has elevated their offense.
And when you're as good as they are defensively, you can't be a quarterback that just doesn't win games. That they can actually live with that. If you're a quarterback that doesn't win games, they can live with that. He's a quarterback that's losing games.
It feels
like it's a
you gotta
different
make your layups and free
dynamic.
throws, and he struggles to do that.
It feels like if CJ Stroud this year was the 14th best quarterback in football, they could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
With that defense, yeah.
Right?
Facts,
It's the best defense in football.
Yeah.
Until Aaron Donald joins the Rams, it's the best pass rush duo.
He could be a little lower than that, and they could probably win it.
Okay, so that's
16,
18, be a top 20 quarterback and they can win the Super Bowl?
But it goes to what we're saying. Just don't be the reason why you lose. And I don't think that's hard. You know what I mean? Just do enough because of the defense you do have.
Well, so then that is clearly the biggest storyline for the Texans, who have a Super Bowl-ready defense. Let's go to Green Bay, where the Packers are coming off a 9-7 in 1 year that was really a tale of pre-Micah injury, post-Micah injury. Lost in the wild card round. Who'd they lose to, Coach?
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the Bears. I was there.
No.
Let's take a look at the Packers offseason. They paid their wide receivers. Like they made the choice on their wide receiver room finally. They're like, all right, we drafted Matthew Golden. We're paying Watson and Reed. We're letting Romeo Doubs go. They let Malik Willis go. Obviously did not have a first-round pick. So my biggest camp storyline for the Packers is the offense going to be ready week 1 to carry them until Micah comes back? Because the NFC North is absolutely loaded. I genuinely believe any of the 4 teams can win it, and any of the 4 teams can come in last place. So Micah Parsons is going to miss at least 4, maybe up to 6 games, depending on schedule and ramp up once he comes off the PUP list. So if we throw up the Packers' schedule early, it's pretty favorable. If you look at, is he going to come back for that Bears game, which I believe is week 5? Is he going to come back for the Cowboys game, which is week 6? You can take my word for it. Yeah, there it is. I nailed it. Bears in week 5, Cowboys in week 6, Vikings, Jets, Falcons, Bucks. If you then look to, well, what does that mean for a team without Micah? I think it sets up pretty well. You play 1 playoff team in your first 6 weeks, the Bears, and you play 1 top 10 defense, Minnesota. Jordan Love should be able to carry the offense right out of the gate. I know there's Josh Jacobs, legal questions. I know Tucker Kraft is coming off the injury, but Jordan Love needs to be hot early until Micah Parsons can come back.
Well, yeah, they got to be able to score in the 20s, right? Because they lost their closer in Micah Parsons. That's what Micah is known for. In the fourth quarter, 5 minutes left of the game, man, he's going to go get the quarterback, either get a turnover or shut things down. They don't have him, so now you're actually more out of the offense to produce. And with everything all the guys you just named, they're going to need those guys ready to go right out the gate. Do I think Jordan Love can deliver in that factor? Yes, I do. I think the Packers are good enough offensively to do it.
Well, like we talked about with Mahomes and the play action component, with Josh Jacobs, they had 1,300 yards 2 years ago, and then it was a little over 900 last year, and he was dealing with the injuries, so he was a big factor in their offense. We'll have to see how that plays out. And the Tucker Kraft issue, missed 9 games last year.
Tucker Kraft was arguably the best tight end in football the first half of last year before he got hurt.
So is he going to be ready at the start of the season? Is he not going to be ready at the start of the season? And all that dynamic is a big part of how successful Jordan's going to be.
Yeah, Tucker Kraft activated off the PUP list today, but you look at it and you're like, okay, they got Reed, Watson, Golden, Kraft, Jacobs. It's a really good skill position group around. Oh, yeah. With Jordan Love. They are one of many teams who think they could be a top 5 offense this season. All right, let's get in the RV. Head north, Minnesota. I like to go camping in an RV.
Is Coach still driving? Still driving?
Yeah, he's.
Looks like I'm just busy eating based off the picture. S'mores, I must be smuggling all the s'mores in. Head is gigantic. Look at how little your head is, Willie. My head is like.
It's the pads, Coach.
It's
the pads.
The size of that Minnesota O.
I look good. The Vikings went 9-8 last year behind, I don't know if I can call it a 3-headed monster at quarterback coach, J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, and Max Brosmer. This was the Vikings offseason, and it was an interesting one. They signed Kyler Murray. Willie mentioned it earlier when we were talking Niners. They signed Juwan Jennings, made a big signing on the offensive line, got rid of Grenard to Philly. So big changes on the interior of the team on both sides of the ball. But whenever there's a true quarterback battle, it's obviously the biggest storyline of camp.
Yeah.
And the reports are, I was reading it today over at The Athletic, apparently J.J. McCarthy is 2 for 2 in out-dueling Kyler Murray. Now, he has more familiarity in the system, obviously, so I'm not declaring him the winner, but they are treating this like it is a true quarterback battle. And my question is if the winner is going to make them forget about losing Sam Darnold. Because Sam Darnold just won a Super Bowl, and if you throw up what their numbers were, Kevin O'Connell operated from a place of what I would have said was earned arrogance. He was like, I got Kirk Cousins to have great numbers. I got Sam Darnold to have great numbers. So instead of paying those guys, I'm going to draft J.J. McCarthy, and I'll have him have great numbers. 2024 is when he had Sam Darnold, and it was great, across the board. Last year with the 3 quarterbacks, it was abysmal. Kevin O'Connell learned what life was like without. So I guess, Coach, the question is simply whether it is McCarthy or Kyler. I think it'll end up being Kyler. Can they get more of 2024 production than 2025?
Yes, they can. Are they going to still be happy that they let go of Sam Darnold, or will it make them ease the regret of losing Sam Darnold? No, I don't think so. I think they're going to they're going to probably regret it even more after the finish of this year, because either guy I doubt is going to give you anywhere close to what Sam did that 1 year. And now the fact that he's gone and done it again in a different place and had the success, and I would anticipate that trajectory will continue for him. And is Kyler Murray the answer long-term in Minnesota?
No.
We've seen other guys have great success at their second team, but I don't know if it's going to ease the pain.
Well, you say Kyler's going to win the job. I hope it's J.J. McCarthy. He's only played 10 games. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he's still a young quarterback, and the Minnesota Vikings have this way of being extremely impulsive with their quarterback. Sam should have never left the building, right? But it is what it is. It's history. If you're going into this competition battle, that is, I feel like you have to invest in J.J. McCarthy because he's younger and he hasn't played a lot. Allow the kid to grow within the system and continue to flourish.
He was so bad,
but
though,
he was also coming
played.
off an injury. Like, he's still trying to find his way. Listen, at the end of the day, I felt like I wasn't a pro until year 3 or 4 in my career, right? Where I fully got what was going on and what was in front of me. Now, this kid went to Michigan. He's probably a lot smarter than me. But nevertheless, man, he still needs time to grow. Don't give up on him. I hate the fact that he's even in this position.
Really?
Yeah.
He just got the GM fired. The head coach isn't going to get fired because of him.
How did he get the GM fired?
Because the GM let him play and let Sam Darnold go, and they drafted him, and it's been abysmal.
But don't you think I understand that from that standpoint, but my point is every guy needs time to grow. You can't this isn't a microwave type of situation where you plug and play.
Totally understand,
right,
but they've got a talented team, and you can let the kid grow, but if you sit there and have all this talent in a ridiculously competitive division, and you got another guy that's better than him,
I don't know if Kyler's better than him. Like, he was benched in Arizona.
Well, listen, we're gonna see. That's what the competition's for, right? Like,
and the bar's not very high based off his numbers last year in the games that he played.
Well, I guess my question would be, has J.J. McCarthy in year 3 earned not having competition?
No.
Right?
Not even close.
I just don't know. I think that's a better question to ask him if he's played a full season.
Listen, I understand that.
Because you have a larger
but you can't count on the guy to be healthy either.
But that was always been kind of his knock.
Well, I mean,
you still drafted him. You can't give up on him.
Well, I think they're about to. I think they are very much about to. But hey, if he beats out Kyler Murray,
and maybe he'll be Sam Darnold somewhere else.
Yeah, or I mean, you just don't want to mess around with Justin Jefferson's prime. You don't want Justin Jefferson.
Or you just be looking for a quarterback year after year.
Or Justin Jefferson will ask out of Minnesota at some point. Like, you got to right that ship there. That is a team that's ready to win now. Let's go to Jerry World. Final stop on our camp tour today. Cowboys finished last year 7-9-1, missed the playoffs for back-to-back years. Cowboys offseason, I mean, honestly, it was pretty busy. Franchise tag on George Pickens, and it went well. Spent money in free agency, like they don't normally do. Most since Brandon Carr for a defensive back in free agency back in 2012 for Thompson, the safety. Then drafted Caleb Downs, used 2 first-round picks on defense, traded for Rashawn Gary. Pretty busy offseason for Dallas. So my biggest camp storyline is, are they legit Super Bowl contenders with Gotti, the greatest offense there is? And you mentioned it kind of early in passing, Willie. It is the NFC version of the Bengals.
Sure.
Like, Dallas can be a top 3 offense in the NFL. Can you then be a top 20 defense in the NFL? I showed those numbers yesterday for Cincy about, teams like the 06 Colts, or the Chiefs from a few years back, like where it was like you were a top 3 offense and you were a middling defense, but it was good enough to win. Didn't want to do that in terms of the history since I showed it yesterday for Cincy. If Dallas can just be a little below average defensively, look at what they've done when their defense scores less than 25. Or allows less than 25.
Wow.
They are 41-6 if they hold the opponent to under 25 points per game. That's not asking a lot. League average 23, 24 points per game. Just be a little below average and you win basically every game. I feel like with Christian Parker, like new defensive coordinator, first round picks, money spent, full year with Quinnen Williams, I feel like that's in play for Dallas this year, Coach.
Yeah, to me, they've done more than Cincinnati has done to build their defense. And
since he has the Dexter Lawrence trade, they spent a lot in free agency also.
Yeah, they let a star go for nothing. Dallas traded a star and got a lot
that
in return.
that is definitely true.
And they went and parlayed those draft picks into other players that you could argue are definitely frontline guys. And I don't think 25 points a game is unreasonable for this year in terms of a bar. And if they hit that, we see how successful it's been. It's definitely in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, I think the optimism comes with Christian Parker and his ability to disguise and get after the quarterback. I think they still probably are one more game record away from kind of being a legit contender. Hopefully, we'll see what Jerry has up the sleeve. But if the defense shows up, I agree with you. They're in contention because of what the offense can do.
It's just, I feel like their offense gives them a pretty high floor, assuming health. Obviously, we're all assuming health here.
Yep.
And then it's, did they hit on Malachi Lawrence with the 23rd pick in the draft and get a legit pass? You need someone to kind of come out of nowhere, because I don't think Rashawn Gary is going to all of a sudden be great.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah,
right.
He wasn't that guy in Green Bay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's that type of thing. But if you can figure out one place where you just overachieve on the defensive side, can you overachieve?
I don't see it. I don't see defense as being just one place where you can overachieve, because typically, if there's only one place that you overachieve, they don't attack there. They attack everywhere else where you underachieve. And what Dallas has done a good job of is they've addressed a lot of things in the secondary. They've tried to address the layers of the defense. So maybe they won't have the massive breakout star, but cumulatively, they should be significantly better.
Well, then I think they're going to be in contention well into December and maybe even January.